So, if you've checked out my review of Apple's spring-loaded event in April, you should know that I don't give much a toss about the Apple TV because I don't have a full-size TV, so I don't need a streaming device or whatnot. But when I see this article about the Apple TV HD, The Verge talking about how the price of the Apple TV HD is so unreasonable, I know I have to chime in, because the very respectable The Verge, for once, has got it all wrong. This is Clem from Future Reference, and today I'm going to talk about why Apple has to make the old Apple TV HD so expensive, why Apple is pricing this at $149. Now first, let me give you a scenario. Imagine you want a coffee and you arrive at a cafe like Starbucks. Not that I particularly like Starbucks, just that everyone knows about Starbucks. You want a very basic iced cafe latte with no additions whatsoever. The grande size will cost you £3.15. £3.15 is enough to get you the caffeine boost you require for the day. Nothing more, nothing less. But then you find out if you just fork out a little bit more at £3.50, you can just upgrade your latte to a venti. An extra 180 milliliters for just 35p, and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, why not? I can treat myself. I can just get the venti. I can just have myself a few extra sips of the coffee. And that's exactly what Apple is trying to do. The Apple TV HD is certainly not cheap for what it is. It only supports 1080p HD, and it comes with the A8 processor, which is the one that came with the iPhone 6 back in 2014. That's a processor that's almost 7 years old. It's definitely showing its age. But for The Verge to simply say that the Apple TV HD is inappropriately expensive, well, that just shows how The Verge has failed to consider the full picture and only placed their emphasis on the pricing of individual products. As I've said, Apple TV HD comes with a very old A8 processor, and if loads of people are still buying the Apple TV HD, that means down the lane, Apple still needs to keep up the software support for A8 processors when all of the other processors like A12 or A14 or A15 next year are coming. It's almost a liability for Apple to keep up with the software updates and software support for such an old processor. On the flip side, the Apple TV 4K is where the real competition is. Think about it this way, there are other major competitors in the 4K streaming devices market like the Chromecast and Amazon Fire TV, and Apple definitely wants a chunk of that business. But the 4K versions of the Chromecast and Amazon Fire TV cost just around $99, and in comparison, the Apple TV 4K at $149 is not cheap at all for what it is. And Apple has a strategy for that. Apple needs to engineer a comparison that favors the Apple TV 4K in terms of the outcome. If Apple provides you with the option of the Apple TV 4K at $179 and the Apple TV HD at $149, suddenly you're hooked on the idea that with an extra $30, you can get so much more from your Apple TV. Like, you get an A12 Bionic chip instead of an A8 processor, you get 4K instead of HD, you get HDR high dynamic range, you get Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. You get so much more by paying just $30 extra. That is exactly what Apple wants you to think. It wants you to think that the Apple TV 4K is a great deal. In fact, the strategy is so powerful that The Verge has fallen for Apple's marketing as well. Within the article, The Verge has actually mentioned, and I quote, "Who wouldn't just spend the extra $30 for a more future-proof Apple TV 4K?" And that is exactly the key. By making the price of the Apple TV HD unreasonable, as The Verge put it, it makes the price of the Apple TV 4K seems reasonable. Here, The Verge was totally distracted by how unreasonably expensive the Apple TV HD was and has somehow ended up with the conclusion that the Apple TV 4K is a great deal at $179. Without the Apple TV HD acting as a price point comparison, The Verge would have only been able to compare the Apple TV HD with other 4K streaming devices like the Chromecast and Amazon Fire TV, and they probably would have just trash talked about how expensive the Apple TV 4K is, $179 versus $99. And by adding the Apple TV HD in the mix, Apple has avoided this situation altogether. So here we are, the pricing strategy has been debunked. I hope you find this video helpful or even educational. There's so many similar situations we encounter every day in this capitalist world. From an extra 35p for a larger coffee at Starbucks, to McDonald's pumping up all their prices so the saver menu seems cheaper, to even the discontinued HomePod at £279, so the HomePod Mini at £99 seems ridiculously cheap. It's all planned, it's all calculated. It's all psychology. It is only by considering the full picture and thinking about what's really happening behind the scenes would you be able to choose a product that suits your needs and not the interest of big corporations. For now, put your comments down below and tell me if you agree with me or if I've missed anything on the matter. Do remember to like and subscribe to Future Reference. This is where you can find me in more reviews and tutorials like this. This has been Clem, and I can't wait to see you again real soon at Future Reference.